Well, I grew up playing bluegrass music mostly, so I feel like will always somewhat identify as a bluegrass musician because that's kind of where home base is for me, and everything that I've done since has kind of been built upon that foundation of bluegrass music. So I got my first Allison Krauss recording when I was 9 years old. I'd been playing about a year and just got an album of hers called Forget About It, which is not a bluegrass album, even though I was primarily listening to nothing but bluegrass. I got that album and just fell in love with it. I just loved the songs, I loved her voice, I loved the recording quality. I was very inspired hearing that album, and so we sort of got every Allison Krauss and Union Station album we could find, and on those albums there was a great mandolin player named STEFFEY that was in her band in the earlier years. And so I remember, you know, trying to learn every solo I could from STEFFEY. Of course, Nickel Creek was sort of really starting to blow up with their first album, and Chris Thile. I mean, if you're a mandolin player, you know, it's hard not to love Chris Thile, and so he's been a huge influence to me as well. You know, but also people like, you know, Tony Rice, who's kind of a guitar legend from the bluegrass scene, but I just loved those albums. Such a great singer and interpreter of songs. Bands like Blue Highway, people like Ricky Scaggs. I mean, those were a lot of my early bluegrass influences. But as I've gotten older, I've sort of just been all over the map from where I find inspiration. I grew up playing with usually 4 or 5 other musicians at a time, so mostly in band situations, and it's only been in the last, you know, 2 to 3 years that I've sort of been focusing a little bit more on approaching the mandolin and my voice in more of a solo setting, which is quite different in the approach to playing. I mean, in a bluegrass band, you know, you might have a kickoff to something, you know, and then the vocal comes in and you're playing more of a chop behind that, and then it might be time to play a solo and you'll play your solo, or there might be little fills here and there behind vocal lines, but you have this entire band surrounding you where everybody's contributing to the sound and the color of the song. Well, playing solo, I found myself kind of going, well, I can't just go like this the whole time, because in, you know, 2 to 4 minutes of that's going to be boring. So how can I figure out a way to try to incorporate different things into my playing that I had never thought of doing before, to sort of feel that out. So like the song Weighted Mind, which is the title track off of the album that I released last year, you know, just playing lines like, should I lead, should I lay low, if I ask you, just keeping something different than just going, which you might do a little bit more of in a band situation, you know, so having like lines by, just playing different kind of, so finding ways to keep the rhythm element, which I feel like is sort of the role that the mandolin plays so well, is to play sort of the drum in acoustic music, having that backbeat, finding ways to do that, but also finding ways to color melody lines throughout as well underneath the voice. So that's been something I've been sort of exploring more of over the last couple years, and it's been really fun.